Hello students, once again I welcome you all in this new video from chapter Life Processes with a new topic Transportation in Plants. In the previous video we have completed the transportation process in human beings, and now today we are going to start this process transportation in plants, and we will see how plants are going to transport substances from one body part to another body part. But before we start today's discussion, today's topic, I hope all of you have seen your new reduced syllabus released by CBSE few days back. Now, if you have seen there, then you will be able to know that from biology section, many of the chapters are reduced for the current session 2020 and 21. So the second chapter, control and coordination, that was a part of your syllabus, now it is reduced, it is removed from the current session. Along with this chapter, control and coordination, one more chapter is removed, that is the last chapter, chapter 6, sustainable management of natural resources. So these two chapters are not the part of your syllabus this year. The questions will not be asked in the annual examination from these two chapters. And one more chapter is there, heredity and evolution. So from this chapter, evolution part is removed, only the questions will be asked from the heredity section. So a lot of things are removed from your syllabus. So don't worry about the syllabus completion and don't rush so much to complete the syllabus. We will finish the syllabus in time and you will have plenty of time for the revision also. After the completion of syllabus, we will also discuss these chapters. We can discuss these chapters so that you can prepare for your further examination, because these chapters means the questions can be asked in the other examination from these chapters. So if you have not seen your syllabus till yet, download it from the CBSE site and get to know what are the chapters that are reduced and what are the chapters that you must pay attention this year. So in your periodic test, only the first chapter, that is life processes, that is going to come, and in your half yearly, along with life processes, one more chapter is there, that is how do organisms reproduce. So these two chapters are your half yearly syllabus. Out of these two, life processes will be for the periodic test. So let's start today's discussion, today's topic, transportation in plants. As you know, plants also need a transport system. Plants need a transport system. As you know, they also need various substances from their environment for their survival of life, like you have seen that oxygen, carbon dioxide gas, and water is removed and absorbed in the gaseous form from the plant's body parts, and they also need water and mineral which is absorbed by roots from soil, and they also transport food and hormones from one body part to another body part. So for the transportation of these substances, they need a well developed system, and that system is known as what? Vascular system. But as you have seen in our body that in animals body a, a pumping organ is present there, that is known as heart, but in plants that organ is lacking, and thus the transportation can be done with the diffusion, normal diffusion, and osmosis process. And you know, these processes are what? Slow in comparison to our transport system. So one question is asked there, why do plants need a relatively slow transport system than animals? Because you know, when we consider about plants and animals, so plants requirement of energy is what? Very less, because they are stationary, they are not going to move, means they are not going to show locomotion, and that's why they have relatively slow transport system. And this transport system can work through diffusion or osmosis, and mainly through root pressure and transpirational pull. So through these processes, plants transport the essential and waste substances from one body part to another body part, and this vascular system is composed of two very complex tissues. Vascular system composed of complex tissues known as xylem and phloem. So when we talk about xylem and phloem, these are not new words for you, because many of you are having a knowledge about them from your previous class, class 9, that xylem is a complex tissue, and the component of xylem is what? Xylem. Next one is what? Tracheids. Next, xylem parenchyma. And xylem fibers, which is actually what? Sclerenchymatous tissues or cells. And when we consider about phloem, phloem is also composed of four components. In phloem, you know, that is what? Sieve tubes. Then when we talk about the phloem, that is another component, companion cell, again phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. It means what? Again, when we consider about xylem and phloem, we are observing that parenchyma and fibers are same in both of these tissues. So mainly these two components are the speciality of what? Xylem, that vessels and tracheids are what? Main component. And when we consider about phloem, then here we can see two components, sieve tube and companion cell, that is what? Again main component, because parenchymatous and sclerenchymatous cells and tissues are what? Common in both of them. But there in class 9 you have also read about that we can divide plants in two categories on the basis of the flowers they possess, in the non-flowering plant and flowering plant. So if we are talking about the flowering plants, means angiosperms. So in angiosperms, all these four components are common. But when we talk about gymnosperms plant, means non-flowering plant, in gymnosperm, so in xylem, vessels will be absent. Here in gymnosperm only tracheids parenchyma and xylem fibers. Only these three components will be present in plants which are non-flowering, means gymnosperm. And when we consider about the phloem, here also in gymnosperm only three components will be present, and that are what? Sheath tubes, then parenchyma and fibers. Why this is happening? Because when we talk about non-flowering and flowering plants, in flowering plants there is a need of excess water, and to absorb this excess water, xylem is having one more additional vessel, that is what? Tracheids. That is what? Vessels to absorb water, because we will see what are the structures of tracheids and vessels. And when we consider about phloem, so in non-flowering plants, this companion cell will be absent, because in flowering plants this companion cell is having dense cytoplasm, and it is the main cell responsible for metabolic activities in the phloem and xylem cells. When we compare about the living and dead cells, so you are having a knowledge from your previous class that only parenchyma is what? Living cell in xylem. Rest all three cells are what? Dead cells, dead tissues. Whereas when we compare about the phloem, only this phloem fibers which are made up of sclerenchymatous tissues, that are what? Dead, and the rest are what? Living cells or the tissues. So when we consider about this, we are having two questions, means two questions can be asked here, that why do plants need a relatively slow transport system than animals? Because the plants need less energy requirement, because they are stationary, they are not going to perform locomotion, and that's why their transport system is slow. It is not having any pumping organ like heart as the animals possess. And when we consider about xylem and phloem, these are what? Complex tissues, which are also known as vascular system in plants. These are responsible for what? Conduction or transport of substances from one place to another place. In angiosperms, means in flowering plants, all these four components will be present, because they need a lot of water. And when we consider about the phloem tissues, they are going to transport, means xylem is busy with the conduction of water and mineral, and the phloem in gymnosperm and angiosperm both. And phloem tissue is what? It is responsible for the conduction of food and hormone in plant body. So when we consider about xylem, it is responsible for mainly transport of water and minerals, and the transport of water and minerals in plant is known as what? Ascent of sap. So ascent of sap is what? Transport of water and minerals in plant, and this is carried by xylem, and this transport of water and mineral is what? Unidirectional, means from roots to shoot. But when we consider about phloem, phloem is responsible for the transport of mainly food and hormone and solid substances, means amino acids, can also be transported through this vessel, and the transportation of food is known as what? Translocation, and this is carried by phloem tissue. This transportation is what? Bidirectional. Bidirectional means what? It is going to transfer in both the way, upside and downside. So from leaves to shoot, or from leaves to root. So two more things are here. Transport of water and minerals in plant is known as what? Ascent of sap, and this is carried by xylem, and this transportation will be what? In one direction only, unidirectional, from root to shoot, means top or aerial parts of the plant. And when we consider about the transport of food, it is known as what? Translocation in plant. This is carried by phloem, and this transportation will be what? Bidirectional, from leaves to shoot upside and from leaves to downside root. So this is what? Ascent of sap and translocation. Now we will see what is the mechanism of transportation of water and minerals. So water and minerals are transported in plants through two mechanisms, that is what? Transport of water and minerals. It is going to happen by two processes. The first one is known as what? Root pressure, and the other one is known as transpirational pull. So in root pressure, as you know, that plants are going to fix in the soil and roots are there fixed in soil. So these roots are going to absorb what? Minerals which are present in soil. So when these minerals are absorbed with the help of water, the amount of minerals will be what? More in the plants, and amount of water will be less in comparison to these are what? Minerals, and now this is what? Water. When we consider about the amount of water and minerals in plants, so the minerals in the form of ions will be more in comparison to the soil, so they will absorb water, and such type of pressure that is created by the roots, that is known as what? Root pressure. So the water will be absorbed in the root, and this pressure will be able to transport water in herbaceous plants. But for tall trees, this root pressure will not be sufficient to transport water to the top of the plant. So there is another process, that is what? Transpirational pull. So what is happening in transpirational? You know, transpiration is a process in which water is removed from the aerial part of the plant in form of gaseous form, and when this water is going to remove from the flowers or the stems or the leaves, there will be lacking or the low concentration of water there. So the water will be sucked up like we are going to drink any liquid with the help of a straw. So by this suction pull, this transpirational pull, water will be absorbed from the root up to the shoot. So these two phenomena, these two processes are there for the conduction of water and mineral in plants with the help of xylem vessels. And when we consider about the conduction of food, the translocation process, as you know, the food will be prepared in where? Food will be prepared in leaf, and suppose it is what? Sucrose. Then it will be transported, sucrose will be transported where? If suppose this one is what? Phloem tissue and this one is xylem tissue. So you know xylem water is going what? Upside. So this sucrose will be transferred to the phloem tissue, and when the sucrose amount will be more in the phloem tissue, it means what? The water will be carried out from the supporting xylem tissue into the phloem tissue, and with the help of this water, the amount of the concentration of sucrose and water solution will be higher here in this region, and so it will move in the lower region, lower concentration of the sucrose solution region, whether it is upside or downside. So in this way, transport of food can be possible in plants with the help of phloem tissue. But for the conduction of food also there is a need of water, because water is going to play an important role for the conduction of substances in plant. So this is all, and I am going to attach one more video, additional video in the form of animation. So it is going to provide you a help in the process of conduction of water and minerals and the transportation of food in plants. So you will be able to know what are these processes and how these are going to conduct. So just watch this video and we will discuss about this video later on.
In order for a tree to carry out photosynthesis and maintain its overall health, water and nutrients need to move throughout the entire tree, even against gravity. How does a plant manage this without an organ like a heart that pumps fluids? As we will see, water is pulled from the roots to the leaves through a process called transpiration. In addition, water potential drives the movement of water from one area of the plant to another using osmosis, gravity, and the surface tension of water. Transpiration begins in the leaves. The arrangement of cells and structures in the leaf facilitate the movement of gases and water into and out of the leaf. A leaf contains several layers of specialized cells. The upper epidermis is one cell layer thick and provides a protective covering. Below that layer is mesophyll tissue. Cells in the palisade mesophyll layer are sites for photosynthesis and secretion, as well as storage of food and water. The spongy mesophyll layer contains a looser arrangement of cells, where spaces between cells aid in gas exchange and the passage of water vapor from the leaves. Throughout the lower epidermal tissue are stomata, which are microscopic openings flanked by guard cells. Gases pass into and out of the leaf through these openings, as well as water vapor evaporating from the leaf, a process known as transpiration. The spongy mesophyll layer contains arrangements of vascular tissue, consisting of xylem and phloem that are specialized for the transport of water and nutrients throughout the plant. The vascular tissue extends from the leaves, through the stem, to the roots. Water is transported in xylem from the roots, where the water potential is higher, up to the leaves where the water potential is lower. The arrangement of the tissues, the functions of the cells, and water potential determine the direction in which water will move through a plant. Water passes out of the leaf as water vapor through the stomata. The water vapor lost from the leaves is replaced with water that enters through the roots and is brought up through the stem in xylem. Xylem is composed of vessels, which are continuous tubes formed from dead, hollow, cylindrical cells arranged end to end, and tracheids, which are dead cells that taper as the ends overlap. This arrangement and the polar nature of water molecules allow water to pass in an unbroken stream through the xylem, from the roots up through the shoot and into the leaves. Adhesion is the attraction of water molecules to a surface, such as the wall of the xylem. Cohesion is hydrogen bonding between water molecules. Together, adhesion and cohesion allow water to move through the xylem in a continuous stream, from the roots up through the stem to replace water lost from the leaves through the stomata. Water enters the plant through the epidermal cells of the roots and travels into the xylem. Water potential in the cells of the roots increases when symporter pumps in the plasma membrane allow protons to pass into the cell, traveling down their concentration gradient. These pumps couple the transport of protons with the transport of minerals and other solutes into the cell. Water follows into the cell, driven by osmosis. The presence of aquaporin channels in the membrane enhances osmosis, allowing bulk flow of water from the soil into the roots. The other main vascular tissue is phloem. Phloem transports carbohydrates and amino acids that are produced in the leaves to cells in the roots and stems where they are used and stored. Conduction in phloem is carried out through two kinds of elongated cells, sieve cells and sieve tube members. Most angiosperms contain sieve tube members. Both types of cells have clusters of pores known as sieve areas that are abundant on the overlapping ends of cells. These structures aid in the movement of carbohydrates, like sucrose, that are manufactured in the leaves and carried in the phloem throughout the plant, a process called translocation. Turgor pressure increases in the sieve tube members as sucrose from surrounding cells is brought into phloem through active transport. Water then enters phloem from xylem by osmosis, which drives the transport of carbohydrates in the phloem. Water movement in vessels is one way, while transport in sieve tube members can go in both directions. Water potential is an important driver in both xylem and phloem transport, but only phloem transport utilizes both active and passive transport. Our heart pumps blood throughout our bodies to provide nutrients and water to our cells. Vascular plants can accomplish this same feat without a heart, using transpiration, water potential, and translocation to move water, nutrients, and minerals to all cells of the plant.
So I hope that video is very helpful for you to understand the mechanism of transport of water and minerals with the help of xylem tissues and the translocation with the help of phloem tissues. Keep preparing the notes on all these topics and also for your first periodic test, which will be held very soon. So till then we are going to meet in the next video and start our next and last topic in this chapter, that will be what excretion process in humans and plants. So take care of yourself, be safe and keep studying.